Good afternoon, everybody. For those of you joining us from the West Coast, other time zones, good morning as well. Thank you so much for tuning in today to another free webinar brought to you by Amelia, how to build the perfect tech squad. Some of you may have joined me on a webinar previously. My name is Matt. I am the content specialist here at Amilia. So any of the blog posts you've been reading, short videos you've been watching, and other content you've been consuming through us and any of our sister companies, I am usually in on the deal. So thank you so much for being with us. This is going to be a great webinar. Very, very excited to dive into some of the tools that will help make your tech squad amazing. Before we get started, as usual, a couple of housekeeping items to go over with you. First of all, this webinar is being recorded, so if you have friends, colleagues who are not able to join us live today, we will be sending out an email with the recorded version following the wrap up of this webinar. At some point early next week, we're going to be doing that. So keep an eye on your inboxes for those. You can go back over the information too. Keep it as long as you want so you can store this amazing knowledge and use it on the regular. We will also be taking questions at the end of the webinar. You can enter them into the chat box, which is on the right of your screen. We'll get to those with a little bit of time we have left in the webinar. And if you're interested in learning more about Amelia and maybe checking out our free trial, why not? It's free. Make sure you go to amelia.com. That's AMILIA.com. All right, I think we're just about ready to get underway. I'm going to introduce our presenters in just a second, but let's run through the agenda real quickly. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Amelia in just a couple of seconds. Also, later on, what is a tech squad? What to look for in the components that make up your tech squad. Also going to be going into more detail about specific communication tools, marketing tools, CRM and registration tools that we love. And as I mentioned before, going to be taking your questions live at the end of this webinar. So stay tuned for that as well. Some of you may have already been learning a little bit about our company, a lot about our company, but for those of you who are new to Amelia or want a little bit of a refresher course, we are an online registration and business management software. We're all about optimizing the day-to-day of organizations that we work with and just making their lives easier, allowing their businesses, their organizations to grow over time. We're serving more than 900 organizations, as a matter of fact, all over North America. And let's just put it this way, our tech squad is better than our cheer squad, as you can see from the image on the right. We're trying to get better though. We're working on that flexibility. All right, let's bring on our presenters, two of my favorite people in the whole wide world, Allison Smith, a business development director here at Amelia, and Ashley Wood, marketing director at Amelia. They've spent the better part of their summer traveling all over the United States, spreading the gospel about your tech squad, how it's going to make your cheer gym, your cheer business better for it, growing engagement, growing revenue, and basically connecting and forming those lasting relationships that you need in the business world. Ladies, take it away.
Hi. Hi. Thanks so much. We're super excited to do this. Like Matt said, we did a couple of the Varsity U conferences and some classes there. Had so much fun, loved meeting you guys, so we're excited to kind of keep that going with this webinar.
Definitely. So I'm going to start off by telling you guys, well, what do we actually mean by tech squad? So we want you guys to treat your tech squad like you would your cheer squad. And what that means is you don't want one mediocre software that's going to do everything. You want to find the best software at what it does. Think of your cheer teams. Everyone has a specific position, and it's because of the way, and they excel at a specific skill set, and it's how they work together that makes them champions. Well, it's the same thing for your tech squad. So before we go into those tools that we want to share, I want to first give you guys some tricks and tips about what you should be looking for when you're building your tech squad. The first one is you want to seek ready-made solutions. You don't want to go the custom built way. There's really a multitude of reasons why you don't want to do this, but for one, it's extremely costly to build, maintain, and update. And secondly, it's extremely time consuming. At Amelia, we have over 40 developers that work full-time, and we don't build our own software for things like marketing and sales. It's much better that we spend our time working on what we know, which is the Amelia platform. Second is you want to implement technology that can scale. You always need to consider growth and expansion when you're looking to implement technology. Whether you're looking to add one location or expand your class offerings to start private lessons, summer camps, whatever it may be, you need to consider these things before you implement the technology that you're going to choose. Next, and these two really go hand in hand, but you want to find technology that's cloud-based and that has APIs. The reason for this, and again, going back to your cheer teams, is that you want software that's best at what it does, that excels at the position it is, and that it can connect to other software. Because it's really how you're going to create that ecosystem of solutions for your cheer gym that's really going to make it excel and make your cheer gym grow. Last, and definite pro tip here, you need to get your staff and families involved in the decision-making process. You want them on board and being able to give feedback on the solution that you're looking for. So be sure that there's a free trial that you can test it out. Ask for your family's advice, ask for your staff advice. Not only will you give you a different perspective of how they're going to be using the software, but it also makes, once you choose the software, it's going to make the implementation process a lot smoother.
All right, so I'm going to talk to you about some of our communication tools that we love. Communication is really important for everyone, but especially for you guys. You're not all in the office 9 to 5 every day. So your coaches are in and out of the gym, you have part-time workers, not to mention all the traveling that you guys do. So this makes it even more important to find communication tools to keep everyone on the same page and not let anything slip through the cracks. So the first tool is, I think, an employee favorite at Amilia. Slack is a communication tool internally. So you can see we use it a ton. So in the last 30 days, Amilia employees have sent over 82,000 messages and shared almost 2,500 files. So with Slack, you can create channels for coaches, teams, owners. These channels can be public or private. You can send direct messages, you can post videos, you can share files. It's really a great tool to keep everyone on the same page in your gym.
Just a quick note, Ashley and I actually sit beside each other at work and we still Slack each other pretty much all day long.
I think when a tool becomes a verb, then you know it's solid. So we'll say like, I'll Slack you this, I'll Slack you that. Next, Google. So like I said, you guys are traveling a lot and you're not always in the same place. Whether you're going to a competition, organizing an event, or even speaking at a conference, you want one centralized location for all this information. Not only that, but you want everyone to be able to collaborate, add to the document, and always see the latest version. So I'm sure you guys know Google Drive already, but with Google Drive, you can save your presentations, your Excel sheets, photos, files, videos, document, pretty much anything you can think of. So think of when you go to a competition, your hotel accommodations, your flight numbers, anything that's involved with traveling. Google Drive is a great place to keep it because anyone can access it anytime as long as they have internet. As a plus, it's totally free. The next one for communication, I want to talk about parent feedback. So it's really important to get feedback from your parents and your families on a consistent basis. I recommend doing it once in the middle of your session so that you can catch any small things and make any adjustments to make sure that your families and your athletes are having a great experience. It's also a good time to address any issues that your parents are having before the end of the session. And then I recommend sending another survey immediately after your session ends so everything's fresh in your family's and your athlete's mind and you'll get the most accurate feedback. The tool I really like is SurveyMonkey. Super easy to use. What I like about it, it'll give you industry benchmarks, so you'll be able to see your survey results compared to other businesses like yours. You've got default questions based on your industry. You can create your own questions. It allows for anonymous answers if people feel more comfortable not attaching the name to the feedback. It's free, super easy to use. You get the link to your survey after you've created it and you can send it out through an email. Definitely recommend SurveyMonkey. So that's feedback for your parents. You also want to gather some feedback from your staff. You want to make sure your staff is happy. So we really like and use Office Vibe at Amilia. They're actually in the same building as us. Officewide gives you a ton of options to see how your staff is doing. So the first one is weekly anonymous automated surveys to employees. So you'll ask your employees a series of questions. One would be, on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with the frequency at which you communicate with your manager? It'll also give you follow-up questions to ask. So based on that answer, it'll ask something like, if you could change one thing about the relationship you have with your direct manager, what would it be? For these questions, employees can choose to remain anonymous or not, and you'll be able to respond to them directly in Office Vibes. The other thing I really like is team reports, so that you can get an overview of how happy your staff is. It'll give you a report on 10 of personal growth, recognition, wellness, and alignment. All this data is gathered through those questions I mentioned before. And then based on your scores, it'll give you suggestions. So if you scored low on feedback, it'll provide some articles on how to give better feedback to your employees. Next one is marketing tools. I know you guys are low on time and you most likely don't have someone dedicated to marketing on staff. So I wanted to give you guys tools that everyone on your team can use that'll save you time, but also help put your best foot forward so you can get more families into your gym while retaining your existing ones. All of the tools I'm going to mention in this section have free plans. So some things to look for in social media. Keep in mind that there are different platforms serve different purposes. So you might want to market to your athletes or your younger demographic on Instagram, on Snapchat. Chances are your parents, who are most likely the ones paying the bills, aren't on Snapchat. So you want to target your content and your advertising to parents on what their kids will gain from joining your gym, the outcomes. While you may put more fun, exciting stunts on Instagram and Snapchat for your athletes. Know your audience. Talk to your current families, talk to your parents and your athletes, and find out what it is that they like about your account. Ask them what's missing from your account. Ask new clients what it is about your social media presence that attracted them to your gym. Your current clients, families, athletes can tell you a ton about your potential clients. Next, use the 60-30-10 rule. So what that means is that 60% of the content that you put out there should be original content. If you're writing articles, if you're posting pictures from your gym, that should take about 60% of your social media. 30% should be engaging with other accounts, engaging in other businesses, and responding to people on social media. And that leaves 10% to push sales, to push promotions. No one's going to want to follow an account that is constantly just pushing out their tryout dates, their registration dates. You want to create an account that people come back to so that when you are marketing a new program, an event, you already have an engaged audience. The first tool I want to talk to you about is Hootsuite. So we actually use it at Amilia. It's a social media management platform. It lets you manage your social media channels, and you can also use it to delegate tasks within other users. So if you've got some coaches and some front desk staff all kind of sharing the task of social media, Hootsuite's a great option. Integrations are a big part of Hootsuite. So they integrate with Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and WordPress. They've also got an app directory, so you can add LinkedIn, YouTube, Vimeo, Reddit, Flickr, Tumblr. Hootsuite has you covered in terms of the social media platforms it integrates with. You can post instantly or schedule your posts with Hootsuite. You can schedule them for a week, 2 weeks, a month in advance. Hootsuite will allow you to build your own schedule, or you can allow the app to use its own algorithm and choose the best times to post, and it'll do that automatically on its own. It also offers link shortening. So if you've got a big long link for your registrations, you'll put it into Hootsuite. It'll shorten it for you. It's called Owly, their link shortening tool. And then it'll allow you to track how well that's doing. So you can see how many people clicked on your link for registration. When it comes to analytics, Hootsuite offers a ton, so much so that it can be overwhelming. So what I'd recommend is writing down exactly what you want to get out of it and then just finding it on Hootsuite. Like I mentioned before, it's a really great tool if you've got a bunch of people contributing to your social media strategy. Hootsuite lets you set custom permissions and roles by organization, teams, and members. Great tool for collaboration. It also has a free plan, which will let you manage up to 3 profiles and send up to 30 scheduled messages in a month. Next one is Canva. This is one of my favorite tools. We use it when our graphic designer isn't here or is overwhelmed. Canva lets you create visual content for social media, for invitations, for print. You could use it around your gym for posters. It gives you a ton of templates, text, ideas, lets you automate. You can put your gym's colors in there. Really easy tool to use. And visual content when it comes to social media is super important. So make sure that it looks good and that it's representative of the quality services that you're offering at your gym. Next is email marketing. So when you're looking at email marketing tools, you want to look for integrations. Allison's going to talk about it a little bit later, but you want a system that integrates with your CRM, and that'll take a lot of the hassle out of cleaning your list, dealing with your unsubscribes, and seeing how well your campaigns perform. You also want to look for mobile optimized templates. So right now, about 43% of people are checking their emails on their smartphones every day. Fewer and fewer people are opening their emails from desktops, which means that choosing an email marketing tool with functionality and mobile optimized templates is essential. If someone opens an email on their mobile or their smartphone and it doesn't display correctly, they'll most likely bounce, and all the effort and time you put into building that emails will be for nothing. The last one is look for A/B testing functionalities. So A/B testing is when you want to compare the same email with different elements to see what works and doesn't work. So you would send an email, half your list would get one subject line, half your list would get another subject line, and then you'd see what works better. Look for that in your systems because it's good to know what works and what doesn't work. First tool I want to talk to you about for email marketing is MailChimp. So MailChimp is one of the most accessible and user-friendly email marketing platforms out there. They have about 7 million users worldwide. If you're managing weekly or monthly newsletters along with campaigns and have a strong social media strategy, MailChimp is a great option. It integrates with Salesforce, WordPress, and Google Analytics so that you can track everything. And it works seamlessly with Hootsuite, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram. Reporting is super easy to understand in MailChimp, and it'll even give you a comparison of how your email did versus industry average. A/B testing, like I just mentioned, is great in MailChimp. It's really strong, and if you've got a list of contacts and are interested in testing a lot, I think MailChimp will be the best option for you. MailChimp has a free forever plan that will allow you to send up to 12,000 emails per month for free. Another great tool for email marketing is Constant Contact. They've also got a bunch of integrations and mobile optimized templates. Constant Contact isn't free, but they do provide you with a 60-day free trial that allows you to have up to 100 contacts and send an unlimited number of emails. Constant Contact has more ready-to-use templates, so if you want a variety of emails and aren't into designing them or placing them, Constant Contact's a great option for you. It's also got better list management. It's got slightly more options to uploading contacts into your list, and it has a tagging system, so if you're into sending more custom emails, it'll allow you to tag everyone in your list so you can segment them that way. Reports and analytics is a little bit weaker than MailChimp, but it still allows you to compare open rates between desktop and mobile, which is really cool, and it'll allow you to compare up to 5 different campaigns. What I really like about Constant Contact is their click tracking heat map. So you'll be able to look at an email, and a heat map will tell you where people spent the most time, what they clicked on. The larger the circle, the more clicks the link received. This will tell you what people are looking at, what people are interested in. Like I mentioned before, Constant Contact integrates with Salesforce, WordPress, Hootsuite, Facebook, and Instagram, and pretty soon Amilia. Our goal is really to integrate with both MailChimp and Constant Contact to make the email marketing and email to your clients as seamless as possible. I want to talk about SEO. So if any of you have been to the classes we did at the varsity conferences, you've heard me talk a lot about SEO. It's so important regardless of the size of your gym, so I'm going to mention it again. SEO is what matches a search on Google, Bing, Yahoo, or any other search engine to your website. So here's what would appear when someone searched tumbling in Kentucky. You'd have the page title, Legacy All Sports, the URL, and then what's called the meta description. All of these should contain keywords. So your keywords are what tells Google what your page is about, what your website is about, and it's what matches it to the person at home searching for that keyword. A great tool to use is Google Keyword Planner. It's free. You can type a word in there and it'll tell you how many monthly searches that gets for your area. You can narrow it down as much as you want, and what the competition is for that keyword. Ideally, you want to get high monthly searches with low competition. So you can stick, if you have a tumbling program, put tumbling Montreal, tumbling Toronto in there, and then you'll see, is this worth putting into my meta description? Should I put it in my website? Should it be in my page title? Next is Google Page Speed. So what you can do is put any page on your site in the box at the top, and Google will give you a score on 100 based on speed and optimization. So speed is how fast your web page loads when someone gets there. Things that'll affect this are the images that you upload, the videos that are on there, how your site is built, and then optimization. So that's the use of keywords, how easy it is to navigate around your website. So Google will give you a score, and then it'll give you recommendations on how to fix this to get a better page speed score. Really great tool, super easy, also free. Last one for Google is analytics. So analytics can seem overwhelming, especially if data is not your thing. Still a great tool. It integrates with all of the tools that I've just talked about, and it'll give you an idea of how well your website is performing. It'll tell you where people are coming from, how long they're spending on your pages, what your bounce rate is. So your bounce rate is the number of people that get onto a page and then leave your website. It'll really raise some flags about what needs to get fixed and what works. It can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. Don't get overwhelmed with all the Google tools. There's a ton of support documentation, a ton of videos. You don't need to be a marketing expert to use analytics, even if it looks scary at the beginning.
All right, now on to CRM and registration. So CRM, for those of you who were not at our varsity talk, stands for Client Relationship Management. We don't have some specific tools to share on this one or any free tools to share on here, but I will share some tips on what you guys need to look for when you're looking for a CRM and registration platform. And we're also going to do a little bit of promotion about Amilia here, and I'm going to share with you guys my favorite things about Amilia, especially having spent a lot of time with you guys at varsity. I think these are the things that are really truly a highlight for cheer gyms. So what to look for? The first thing you want to look for in a CRM platform is flexibility. The information that you need to collect from your recreation classes is different from what you need to collect for your competitive classes. So it needs to be flexible. You need to be able to get the information you need from your athletes for both of the different types of classes that you're offering. Next, you want real-time data. So in order to make smart decisions to grow your gym, you need to have real-time information. So the data that you have in your CRM needs to be accurate. It needs to reflect what is actually going on in your platform. So that's crucial. And last but not least, you want something that's SaaS. Ashley mentioned it before, but you guys are not always at your gym. You're traveling, you're at competitions, you're at events. So you need software that's available everywhere on any device. So I mentioned it before, but you require different type of information from your recreation to your competitive classes. So in Amilia, we have our forms where you can ask a bunch of custom questions. You can actually ask up to 250 questions. And from there, you can collect a bunch of different information that you need, and then you can extract that information from your form. So when you take attendance, your coaches can have the accurate information that they need. So if it's a new coach coming in maybe and needs to know if there's any injuries for anybody in that class, well, they can easily pull that information and get that. Same thing when it comes to doing some analytics and knowing what classes are functioning best, or where your classes are coming from, or how people are hearing from you. If you ask that question in the form, well, you can pull that information afterwards and again, make smarter decisions on how to run your gym and how to grow it. Next, I want to talk to you about our unique user account. So this is what their parents get to go see. They get to pay their invoices, manage members on their account, view and print account statements, view calendar activities for all the different members on their account, and have the communication tool. So what's super interesting here is that we have one unique user account no matter where the parent is registering their child to. So if they're registering for one kid that's going to their local YMCA, and then the other child is registered to your cheer gym, well, they'll have that same unique user account, meaning that all the relevant information that they change. So again, if they have an address change when they're going to register their child to that YMCA, well, that automatically changes it in your CRM too. So when you're thinking about that real-time information and making smarter decisions on how to grow your gym, that means you can do that because you have that accurate information, and it brings them to being able to keep using that account and keep putting that information up to date. Next is our online store. So what's really unique about this is it allows parents to shop easily, where you can decide how they shop, what type of classes you're offering, and it's an easy checkout process. People are used to shopping online. They're used to using Amazon and that seamless checkout process. So if I can go and add myself to a tumbling class, and maybe I'll add merchandise as well. So you can add merch from your pro shop, tag it to a class, and do a simple checkout process that will include all of those things in one place. It also allows us to do really cool marketing integrations like Google AdWords and Google Analytics that Ashley spoke about earlier, and a Facebook integration. So on our back end, you can share specific classes to Facebook that you want to promote, but parents can also share on their end. So once they do a checkout class, if they signed up for a specific summer camp, they can tag their parents into it as well, or another parent into it, so they can go and register for the same class. Next, really cool feature is peak management. So when your tryouts start, you can have up to 150 times the traffic on your online registration platform. It's crucial that your online registration platform is able to manage that traffic. Nobody wants to be sitting in a waiting room and having nothing to do during that time and not understanding what's going on. You want to be able to manage those peak performances during that time frame. So let's recap and go over everything we just spoke about. So first, create an ecosystem. Again, you want to look for software that's best at what it does and that can speak to other software. Ashley mentioned it, there's a ton of cool marketing tools, and they all integrate with different tools because it's really how they work together that makes them extra useful and very powerful.
Second, look for free trials, regardless of the system that you're choosing. Test it out, get your families to test it out, get your staff to test it out. If a system doesn't offer a free trial, that's really a red flag. You should be able to get in there and play around with any system that you're going to buy for your gym. Last but not least, incorporate your staff and parents into the decision process. I mentioned it at the start, but it's really crucial not only to get the different perspectives from your staff and your parents, but also to make sure that they're on board and to make that implementation process much smoother and get everybody happy.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, ladies. That was Allison Smith, Ashley Wood, showing you how you can build your very own tech squad that can help you conquer the cheer business, small business world. We're going to get 2 questions in just a couple of seconds, but a quick reminder of some of the points we went over at the top of the webinar. We are going to be sending out a recording of this very talk at some point early next week, so make sure you keep an eye on your inboxes. You can store the information in this webinar for future use. Also, share it with your colleagues, friends, anybody that you think could benefit from some of the tips we've been talking about today. And if you're curious about Amilia, want to check out our free trial, make sure you go to our website. That's amilia.com, AMILIA.com. I'm going to give everybody a few seconds to continue writing their questions in here. I've got a couple to start out with. First of all, I'm not sure if you talked about this, I don't know, or can talk about this in more detail, but what exactly is a CRM and how specifically maybe would it benefit a cheer gym in terms of like a right away implementation?
Great question. So CRM, again, client relationship management software. There are a ton of them that exist that do a multitude of different things. What you want is to pick the right one for your gym. In order to do that, you need to know your workflows, you need to know what you want it to do. But it needs to have, again, accurate information. So you need to know who signed up for what class, how much did each class pay, how are each classes doing. You need to know maybe where they're coming from, again, how they've heard from you. It's really a place that you can keep all client information in one place, be able to export that information, and be able to make, again, smarter decisions on what your gym needs to do.
Thank you, Allison. I got another question here. I'm going to throw this one over to Ashley here. Specific to Amilia, how does our software platform integrate with social media? And if you can, maybe go into detail about some of the big social networks that we deal with on a regular basis.
Sure. So like Allison mentioned before, we do integrate with social media, specifically Facebook. You can push your classes. If you've got a class that hasn't filled up yet, you can push it to say, hey, there are 3 spots left, come sign up. You have the parents that can share to go, hey, I just signed my kid up for tumbling. Anyone else interested? Your clients are really your greatest marketing tool. So we've given them the option to promote your classes for you. What I really love as a marketer is the ability to track your campaigns with Google. And Facebook. So if you're creating an ad, Facebook and Google will be able to tell you, you had this many clicks, you had this many conversions. But what Amilia tells you is, okay, you had this many clicks, but here's the revenue that you generated from those ads. So someone clicked on an ad from your tumbling program, registered for a class, you'll be able to see the revenue tied to those ads. So that'll tell you, is my advertising worth it? Where's my money best spent? What's my return on investment on my marketing?
Very, very insightful stuff. Just waiting for if we have any last minute questions. But before we go, I do want to mention tying this into social media, specifically for cheer gyms. We had previously done how to make your Instagram a superstar business Instagram account super scroll worthy. You can check that webinar out. It is on our YouTube page. So you can just go on youtube.com, search Amilia webinar. It'll pop up, and some more amazing information to help your cheer gym succeed in the long run. Ashley, Allison, thanks so much for doing this today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, check back with us soon for more amazing webinars, and make sure you visit Amilia.com. Have a great one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.